we've built our machine. We've designed and built our machine. Um, so once we've designed and we've built that bare metal machine, not physically, but in a logical world, we're built that machine based on the settings that we gave it. And I will review those settings in just a bit. But before I do, is we're going to install Windows Server 2012 R2. There's a lot of people that are going to ask me why. I want you to kind of know that it is still available in companies and companies are still using it. So it's okay to install it for practice. You know, I've worked on this many machines for many years, and I've installed so many machines that, I've even installed 2003 machines, servers. So we're dating back 22 years plus, right? So I'm able to kind of, see what's happening 23 years later. Although it doesn't matter, but still, I'm now able to actually do that, which is kind of cool. And in this for this one, I want you to kind of learn how to build different machines and how to learn to install different operating systems from prior experience. That way you build your knowledge, right? And you see what's out there and you kind of, not that it matters because we're in 2022, 2025, but it's also good to see the past because knowing the past will get you to understand the future, right? So you kind of move your way into like different servers. And I know it's 2012, we're looking at 13 years ago, but knowing how to install 2012, then knowing how to install 2016, then knowing how to install 2019 will give you the benefits and kind of give you the hands-on experience, right? Um, for different projects in test environments, I don't mind this. I don't mind anybody doing this. But in a real environment, you want to stick to what's out there. So 2022 or 2025, right? Companies are out there still using 2012. They've lost support. Uh, I think it was 2023, support ended for 2012. So a lot of people are migrating their legacy servers over to 2016 or to 2019 or even 2025. I mean 2022, right? So, reap the benefits of it, right? Because you're going to learn a lot and you're going to see a lot of errors that, you haven't really seen before. And, knowing that you're able to kind of troubleshoot those right away for the next time that it happens. So in your next build, when you build your virtual type bare metal machine, that's going to be your server. So in this instance, we're going to leave the language the same. The only thing I want you to change is if you're in a different country like Canada, Mexico, Europe, you want to make sure that your time and currency format matches. So we're going to leave, because you're out in the west coast of the US, we're going to leave US states as your time and currency format because that's what we're going to use, right? If you're in Canada, you use Canada. If you're in Mexico, you're going to use Mexico. The keyboard is still the same. You know, it's defaulted, right? Again, you can make changes if you're out in Japan or you're out in India or Africa or different methods of keyboard and French keyboard, because a lot of the times you'll have your bilingual companies, enterprise companies that are bilingual. So they'll have Spanish keyboards and they'll have their Spanish keyboard or input format method that they use. So you can make those changes there, right? So we're not going to make any changes here. We're just going to click next. That lets me. Okay. So we're not repairing this computer. There's no operating system installed. So we're just going to click on install now. Right. So this is where we have to understand what server core installation is and server with GUI is. Server core is basically a light serverless machine. It's all code based. So you can install a server that's based on command prompt or PowerShell. So that's what that is. You have your standard evaluation license, right? Which is 160 days, which is 180 days. divided by 30 is 30 days is 6 months. So you'll have that for 6 months from the day that you started it, right? So the day that you install it would be June 24th, 2025. 6 months from now would be December, obviously December 24th, which is Christmas Eve 2025 this year. So you'll have the benefits of using this application for that time being. Now you can also extend that period, but I'm not going to get too much into that because I'll show that in another day or another video. You guys can always ask me, and I'll tell you how to do that later on. But just understand that server core in standard and data center evaluation, again, it's recommended. It's recommended. Server core is recommended when um, you want to install only what is needed on the machine and run roles that are needed, right? But it doesn't have a GUI, right? So that's kind of reduces the management and servicing in that aspect because there's no updates that need to be installed. You can fully manage this locally or remotely, right? You can manage this remotely. So this is where I said it's serverless with PowerShell or any other tools that you want, right? So you can switch to a different installation option later, but if you were to choose the standard server core install, you're not going to get the GUI. It's going to look a little weird for you. So you're going to have to learn the commands on that. My recommendation for this option here is not to install the server because we're going to use this machine as our data center. We're going to install the data center evaluation server with a GUI. So it's the last option. Just remember, you can try both later on, Wayne, if you want to. It's great to try this out and install it on another virtual machine. So that way you have both options and you can play with both options, right? So we can install features without having to go to Server Manager, right? With Server Core. Whereas with GUI, we're able to go into the Start menu, open the icon that says Server Manager, and then go to the tools and install the Windows features and the Windows roles that are available for your infrastructure, right? So I want you to click next. Any questions so far?
Thank you.
So this is backwards compatible, right? So you can actually go back after if you want and make those changes. It's up to you. So you're going to accept the license term and then click next. Right? And we're going to do a custom, right, install where we're installing new files and the metadata and applications that, yeah. And it looks like you have two. So we're going to use your primary hard drive to install the operating system only, right? So remember, any changes or any files or logs or transactions, we're using your second disk, right? So what I want you to do is format it. Should have format it. Not sure why you have two different partitions here. Format it. Format or delete. Just delete. Format or delete. 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 Okay, cancel. I want you to go
We
to
want to
delete.
delete the system
Delete.
reserve
Yeah, just delete it for now. Yeah, because it's a new system, right? Delete.
because okay. So
Yeah, click OK. Yeah, click
yeah.
OK. Okay. All right. And then go to partition one, delete. Okay.
And this will get rid of what
So
was
this is
maybe
now
there previously.
this is now a disk. Now, if you were to move up your if you were to move your mouse up to the top here, right, and right click on here, right, do you have two SATA disks installed? So go to the settings. Should be able to know where to go to now. Um, So you don't have two disks. So you had software already. You had something installed on this machine already. So we're now basically going to start from scratch. So right now you only have one disk, one hard disk that's 60 GB, right? We're going to
Okay.
click OK. right? And I want you to click next. Highlight the unlocated space. Yeah, highlighted it, and then click next. We're not partitioning anything, so we're not creating any new partitions for this specific reason. I know with Linux, with Ubuntu, Linux, and Red Hat, we partition it sometimes, but in this instance, we don't have to because we can create new disks as needed, right? We can go up to the settings here and go to the marketplace, purchase one, then go to the settings here, right? And then install that new, create that new disk virtually, which is just a logical piece of software. So once this is done, so technically I'll just put you on hold and we'll wait for this to come back. Should finish already. Yeah, there you go. It's finished. That'll take a little bit longer. But these are small machines, they're light machines, so they're not going to take up a lot of space and does not need a lot of resources, compute resources to install the files and the metadata. All right. So we're going to create an administrative password here. I recommend you create one that's specific to you, but I also need you to back it up. I need you to write it down somewhere so you don't forget it. This one can be, you can create any password that you want. I typically give out a class password. That way we all remember it. Because it's a virtual machine, it's on the LAN. It's not accessible. And then I want you to not forget this one and click finish. All right, I want you to hit Control Delete. Control Delete. All right, I want you to type in that new password that was just created. And then forward, yeah, and this will apply the settings. So we're inside our machine now. You're gonna hit yes. Okay. And you should have an IP address. Am I able to? It should be a DHCP weird number because you're on that, so it's given. So VMware will give you one. Yeah, perfect. 85.144. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So that's good. So I want you to close that. That's just a local domain. That's basically VMware giving you that. Close this.
That's the IP of the server.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's not. It's just it's the IP of NAT because you didn't give it. We're not giving it a static IP yet, and we will give it a static IP. Um, in in a short while, right? We're gonna go through step by step, right? So before we do that, in order to get internet, and you can also get internet on a virtual net, virtual VMnet, which is a VMnet adapter that's given. I think it's 8. So if you go to the network adapters and you open it and you go to custom, there's 18 virtual networks, sort of like your VLANs, physical VLANs, but they're virtual. And if you look at it, if you type that, if you right click on virtual machine here, virtual server 2012, right here where I am, I'm actually pointing. If you right click on that, I'm not sure if I explained this to you already, but I do want to talk about this.
Is that right?
You got it? You with me? Okay, perfect.
Is this what you want?
Yeah, so if you go to the settings, right, you'll see your network adapter, and to the right of it, it says NAT. NAT is basically giving internet access to you, right? So the VMware will give you, you'll use its logic, will use its uses its logic to give you internet. So it's taking the internet from VMware Workstation Pro. So it knows that your physical router you have a router that has a gateway, and that gateway will kind of work with this network adapter NAT. So if you click on network adapter and highlight it for me, yeah, click on it once, just a word. Yeah. All right. You see on the right, you'll see the different connections. I'm not gonna go through all the connections, but if you click on custom, and this will specify a virtual network. Yeah, just highlight and click. Yeah. And you see, if you click on the down arrow where it says VMnet 0, this is where your VLANs are basically. So you have your 18. And for no particular reason, I typically use whatever. But in this instance, if you click VMnet 8, you should still be able to get an IP address. So click on VMnet 8. So this will now virtualize your IPs, right? And it specifies NAT as virtual NAT 8. What
Can I
you're
ask
gonna
a
do is hit
question
OK.
right here?
Sure.
So I noticed that the network adapter was NAT. We've highlighted that, and then we clicked in here and then chose the custom virtual network as NAT. So if we use NAT like we have configured here,
Mhm.
and then let's say if it wasn't on uh, Net 8,
Mhm.
then that would mean we wouldn't be connected on the network. If
Yeah,
we would have to,
you'd still be connected to the network. Yeah.
even though something else might have been selected, it would still connect.
Yeah,
Okay.
so other computers that are not on that same network cannot communicate with each other. And I'll get to that. I'll explain what
Okay.
VLANs are.
No worries.
I'll
Okay.
explain. Yeah, I'll
I'll
explain.
wait.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'll explain to you because so if I have two computers, right, and they're not on the same network or VLAN, they're not going to communicate with each other. So they need to be part of that same network. So I can't have another machine connect to this machine if it's not a part of the same VLAN or VMnet, right? So I can't have internet. I can't connect to your internet if I'm on NAT or I'm not. I'm on VMnet 7. I can't connect to you. So there's no way of connecting to you for file sharing, right? So it's all simple networking, right? It's layer 1 stuff. Sorry, layer 2 stuff because it's IP based. So, um,
Okay.
yeah, does that make sense? So
Yeah, we're fine.
I wish I can draw this out for you, but yeah, I'll show
Okay,
you.
that's
I'll show
fine.
you later. I'll show you later.
So
I'll
press
draw it out
OK.
for you later. I'll draw it out for you later. But
We'll press that. We'll press
yeah,
OK.
press OK.
All right.
All right. So right now you should still be able to open the internet, although it says there's no connection. You should still be able to use the internet,
It just went away. That
right?
X
Yeah.
on here.
So if you open up a web browser, you should still be able to browse the internet. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to disable enhanced security, but if you open up another tag, well, just to let you know that it does work, right? You have to disable IE or else it won't work. So if you type in google.com, it might not work, but like I said, yeah, just hit OK. Hit OK. This is the old one. Yeah, so you're gonna get these trusted sites. Add that to the trusted site. That's right. Close, because you're not using HTTPS, right? So it's just saying, what's that? G static? No, cancel. Close. Close it. Okay. So you should be able to browse now. Like, should be able to browse. No problems. Right? You understand what I'm saying? What is that? About blank. Just close it. Close it. Yeah. Yeah. Don't accept anything. Yeah. Just, yeah. Yeah, there you go. So it does work, right? It does work. That's just your security, right? There's no bypass on that security. But if you go to your speed test on Ookla, it should work. So that gives you the internet, just so that if I'm adding different machines to my network, like another machine, another Windows 12 machine, and I'm not on that same network, I can't connect to that machine. I can't transfer files on that machine. So I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that secure connection in order for us to work together, right? So transfer files, for example, ping the machine, right? So you have to be able to know how to manage your machines in order for them to work together. If they're standalone machines, it's a different story. But when they're member servers that are part of your domain and they need to work together, then that's ensuring that they're on that same virtual network or that virtual network allows the two machines to communicate with each other. Okay, any questions?
I'm good.
No,
Thank you.
you're good. Okay, so close that. Close the Explorer box. Yeah, yeah, close all. Okay, so we're in our server 2012, right? Before we do anything, I want you to open uh, I want you to click on local server on the left hand side. So this is our dashboard. This is where you as a tech would make any changes in terms of computer name, adding to the domain, firewalls, IESec, right? Which is what we talked about now. So typically you would turn IESec off in a lab environment, not in a real environment, because you want your security. And this is where we would make their settings or changes to these servers, right? So basically, what I want you to do is kind of first thing we want to do is make modifications to our template machine because we don't want to have to do this every time, right? So there's specific things that we can do so that instead of installing it, we can create a template of this machine and then clone this machine based on the template that we created. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. So there are some settings that we are going to do together beforehand because these settings will help with creating a base clone of this machine and then using that machine to create a clone, right, of another server. So if I need 7 of these servers, I'm not going to go and create these machines one by one. I'm going to create clones of these same template machine. So this is going to act as our template machine. So before we create this template, right, or golden image, right? So we can have images where we can have software already preloaded, agents already preloaded, drivers already preloaded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in this instance, we're going to make this a base machine. Now, in AWS, they use something called AMI. You know what that is?
Uh,
AMI? in
Yeah,
AWS?
I give up.
You know what AMI is?
Amazon, I don't know.
No?
No.
No. So AMI is basically an image from Amazon, right?
Okay.
It's basically a template that you create this EC2 instance, right? And it's the template that's used to create these virtual servers. So in our Elastic Compute Cloud or EC2 instance, it's basically it acts as your image. So you can create a machine with an image on top of it with settings changed, anything that's pre-configured, and then basically include that operating system, include the application, include the settings, whatever it's needed to launch this instance, and then use that image and create clones of it. Okay, you with me?
Yeah, and that
So
format will be the AMI format.
this will kind of be the AMI format. Yeah, yes, kind of be the AMI format, right? Exactly. And then Azure, they use something called ARM templates. Um, I'm gonna send you a quick picture of that, which allows you to create it. It allows you to actually create the entire infrastructure, but this will also allow you to create um, machines using this template manager, right? I'm going to get you a picture here, 1 second. So they use a little bit of a different approach, but you'll see that the templates are based on resource groups and how you want to manage your solution. So you can deploy a 3-tier application through like a single template, right? To just a single resource group. So I'm going to send you an image of what I have here, and I want you to open that up, and I want you to look at it, and again, while you're looking at it, can you pop that onto the video? I sent it in our meeting chat.
Okay, I'm looking for it now. Let me go to it.
Again, there's different types of templates, right?
Look at you. Okay, so I see it. I see the image you sent me. So you want me to? You just sent me. What did you send me again? I see the image you sent me.
There's an image there that I sent you just now. It's
Okay, I'm gonna check the
right,
chat app.
and this talks about um, creating a
Okay,
template of your. We're using Azure Resource Manager or
got
ARM.
it. I see it. Uh-huh.
ARM. So we're using ARM, or you can use PowerShell or Power or Cloud Shell. But this basic template um, deploys a virtual image, which runs a server in a virtual network that's new. So it's got to be part of a single subnet, right? So what that does is it creates that template from our portal, and then we can kind of deploy it to Azure, right? And this is all done within Azure Cloud, right? So right now we're dealing with how to create a physical, a logical, right, on premises template using the software that we have. And this is similar in ESXi, VMware ESXi, which is our hypervisors. So we can actually do this in our hypervisors. And I'll show you how to do that once we get into the hypervisors section of this class, because I want you to learn how to create a hypervisor, ESXi hypervisor, and create a virtual machine within your ESXi, right? Because we did talk about that in previous classes. Um, so we'll slowly get there, but we'll get there. So right now, what I want to do is, the differences between what an AMI is template and what a virtual machine template is. and what a virtual machine template is from Resource Manager within Azure. There are its differences, right? And you also have to understand, yeah, so there you go. There's your 3-tier template. So basically in this template that you're looking at, you'll see the template, and within that template, you'll have your virtual machine, right? Then on top of your inside your virtual machine, you have your operating system, right? And within your operating system, you have your app service, and then you also have your SQL database, right? And this is all done within a resource group. Okay. So if you had Azure if you have Azure, I don't know if you have Azure, but if you open up the portal, the Azure portal, you would create the resource group, right? And then within your resource group, you create your your virtual machine, and then within your virtual machine, you can create a template. That makes sense,
It does.
right? Because you'll have the operating system there already, right? Or you'll have the option there already. So the option is part of what you're there to manage. Let me see if I can open this for you. I hope I can. I want to give you some visualization. I'm gonna sign in. Give me 1 second. I can sign in for you, and I will show you. All right, so I'm just logging into my portal. I want to see if I can show you a visualization of Azure right now, briefly. Uh, just logging in with MFA here. And if I can get this to run, uh, I'm going to share my screen, okay? Quickly. And here you go. Do you see my screen? Do you see my
Um,
screen?
I don't see it yet. Let me check on the team side.
Teams. I'm sharing my screen through Teams.
Right, yeah, that's that. I gotta shift because I'm not sharing anymore. Um, Let me go back here. Yes, I see it.
So here's the resource. So basically what I would do is go to Resource Manager, right? And
Mhm.
then right? And then scroll all the way down to deployments, and there's your templates, right? So right now we can actually create templates within Azure based on your subscription, right? So pay as you go. And this is also a good time to kind of watch my other video on how to set up Microsoft Azure for free. I have a video. I can send you a link. Um, it gives you Azure for free for 30 days. So, you know, it's always good to utilize that time uh, to and then kind of move your way to pay as you go after, right? There's ways of doing it without having to spend money. I have videos on it if you want. You're more than welcome to take a look at those if you have some time. Um, I do have that for you to install it. So it's just setting up your thing here. So like I said, if it opens it up, it'd be nice. So so if I'm creating something again, right? I can create them here. If it runs it, it'd be nice too. Here's the PowerShell Cloud Shell, we call it. So this is where all the Cloud Shell works. The only way for this to work is this is a paid service. So you need to create a resource for this, or else this isn't free, just to let you know. So if you ever heard of Cloud Shell, you ever heard of Cloud Shell before? This isn't
Yes, it's the
this isn't
CLI
yeah,
or
it's not free. You gotta it's there's storage included, right? So and you have to put this on a virtual network. So setting this up is not free. Um,
so does this like you put your like your scripts and things of that nature in here
yeah,
and
it's
store
sort of like
them?
PowerShell. Yeah, PowerShell. So this will we can use this as our storage, right? Our blob storage, right? We could set it up. And if you want to know how to set up blob storage for Cloud Shell, it'll create a resource automatically, right? And then this will kind of uh, creates the disk image, right? And basically creates the home directory for you. So this isn't free. You got to pay for it, right? So here's some instructions on how to do that if you want to, right? You can get it here. So I would basically copy that and right, mount it and unmount it if I'm not using it, right? So you're not getting paid. So this will show you how to do all that. So this is not a free service, just to let you know. But if this is the first time, it'll tell you to select your store options, so which is what we're doing, or we can use existing storage here, right? So we can use persistent storage or existing storage, right? So everything you do here is in Cloud Shell is serverless, right? Which means that it's all cloud code based infrastructure as a code, especially as engineers, but it's not free. Okay.
Hmm.
You can also obviously open up PowerShell and you know, sign into that session, right? Right. So sort of like what I did here, and then you know test out the commands and whatnot. But it's not free. Um, you probably want to learn a little bit about this too, because as engineers, you do learn IAC, infrastructure as a code. If you are Azure certified the or you're working on a project within Azure, um, you want to look into that option that I told you, right? So that's that, right? You need a subscription. You can test this out with a 30 days, but just remember to delete your resource groups um, before you shut down for the day, because it does cost, right? So I can add to this and then use an existing private virtual network. Now I can say, hey, I don't need any storage. I'm just doing this for testing purposes. But typically you want to mount the storage, right? And those saved files will be saved in the home directory, like I showed you, right? So this is a paid service. Just remember that. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it should. So this is where the resource manager is. I'm not sure why I'm not able to. Okay, so we can even import templates or create template specs here, right? And we can create the templates this way by giving it a name, tying it to a subscription. Just make sure that your location, um, show you this because this is important. Um, just remember when you are thinking about the data residency and where the data is going to sit in their data in Microsoft's data center, or in your data center, within an availability. Um, there's some prices that are tied to it, right? So just remember that the data center region and location and availability is based on data residency, right? And I don't think this is a good idea to use, but let's see if I can find one for you. So this is in Canada. So these are the data centers. So it'll be sitting in one of these data centers. Just remember, the closer you are to it, the better, right? Um, let's see if I can go back to US, the bottom here, the US one. Okay. So United States, as you can see, has many, right? So you're going based on not the default, because sometimes it'll give you a default, but you're going based on which one's closer to you, right? So think about where you are and the one that's closest to you, right? Because that'll have an impact on how much you're spending, latency, and performance as well too. Okay? Any questions?
Yes.
So just remember that.
Right. So this is the Azure piece and installing these templates.
Say
Um,
again?
so we're dealing with the Azure and installing templates, and then but we could also use those on our local machines and our Windows
Yeah,
server.
so locally we can create these templates, VMware, or in our VMware vSphere environments or ESXi environments. We can create those template machines and use it as our golden image. So you can use it for many things. You can use it for servers, right? Right? If you're building 17 servers or 20 servers across, multiple branches. So like say for example, you have a global branch that's located in Canada, and then you have another one that's located in Brazil or South America, and you have another one in Chile, and then you have another one that's based in the US, you have another one based in China. So you would want to um, have templates uh, built on the requirements that it needs, right? So the computers in China and the computers in Brazil are going to be too different, right? Because one speaks Spanish, one speaks Chinese, or the software they use is different than what they use in Canada. So stuff like that, right? So to have these virtual machines created within those networks and those zones makes sense, right? And latency, remember the latency costs too, right? So, preparing your network for that and preparing yourself for the network bandwidth and latency, right? So you need to prepare for. So to have a template, for example, in this instance, I'm migrating from Windows 10 to Windows 11. I have 25 users in my sales department, right? And 10 employees in my finance department. I'm going to build two different images because the software in the finance department is different from the software in the sales department. So I'm not going to have my finance team use the same software or application or have the same Go policies in the sales department, right? So they're going to have two different group policies. They're going to have two different applications, and they're going to have different settings that are needed, and file sharing, right? So that's going to make a big difference. So creating images for that reason makes sense, right? So if I need to create 4 images on the fly, I'm not going to create them one by one, right? So in this instance, I need you to create 4 machines for me tomorrow, Wayne. Having this template, well, you should now be able to create 4 more machines, right? Without having to go in and manipulate the settings. So this is sort of like an automation, right? So it's now automated for you, right? Without using any code.
Okay.
Make sense?
Great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get you to create this template together. We're gonna create this template together. If you need to know anything about data location and all that stuff, but I'm trying to see if I can find a map, data residency map, data Azure infrastructure structure. Oop, map. Yeah, where is that map? It's one of these. You see these maps here, but uh, you kind of get, you kind of understand where I'm going with this, right? Um,
I am.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what we're gonna do today is do the template on the VMs.
yeah. So I'm gonna get you to share your screen, and again, understand how ARM works, understand how AMI works, and understand how physical, like in a data center within, VMware workstation like ESXi, how we build templates as well too, because you can actually build your own here. Um, so can you double click into the black image? Because it looks like the power settings powered off. So we're gonna what I want you to do is kind of um modify some things. We're gonna modify some things, right? So when we modify some these machines, what I want you to do is um make some changes to the server, right? Because that's important as well too. So the first thing I look at is there's about 7 or 8 of them, but in these modifications, I want you to. I'm not going to rename this machine, right? Because I'm going to leave this as a default. So by default, Windows machines will name their machines Windows dash and then a bunch of letters and codes, right? So in this instance, there's about 10 10 numbers after the dash after the win, right? So the only things I want to look at is if we're working on specific environments, you want to look at your firewall, you want to look at your Ethernet cards, you want to look at the IE enhanced security settings, your time zones, and your updates. Now, typically our updates will be installed. Our updates we're going to install using Intune or SCCM, right? Or just um, the Microsoft Update Server, the MUS, because they also have a repository, um, right? And they'll bring that repository to our machine using the internet. So I want to avoid having to update any updates or any policies right now because at the end of the day, I don't care whether or not it's updated or not because our machines are going to be updated using WSUS, or they're going to be updated using MECM, or they're going to be updated using Intune. Make sense? You with me? You with me? So typically, and then this will actually avoid having to restart your computer each time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something. If you make this a little bit bigger, or if you drag the toolbar to the right a little bit in the middle, yeah, make it full screen. But you see in the middle, there's a toolbar in under properties in the properties section. There's a toolbar. Yeah, there's a toolbar. Yeah. So can you move to the right? So do you see where it says? Okay. Do you see where it says last installed updates? You can install the updates. Technically, you're supposed to, but in this environment, we don't really have to because it's going to cause issues later on, right? So we don't really need to. So we can manage this as a company and have this installed through WSUS or through Intune, right? We don't want our users to install these updates, right? We want to manage it, and that's how all companies are. They manage their own stuff. So what I want you to do is, you see where it says Windows Updates? I want you to click on Windows Updates, not configured. Click on it, right? I'm sure you're aware of how this works and how this doesn't work. So right here, this is where we can choose our settings, right? So technically, we're in 20 years ago, we would manually go in here and change the settings, right? So we would choose what settings we would want to update. Not anymore. We're able to now modify this and automate it in a way where once we have that automated and we're building our template and our next machine that we built are cloned, we won't have to worry about that again, right? So what I want you to do is if you click on let me choose my settings, just to kind of give you guys a brief review on older models, on what it used to be like 20 years ago, right? This is where we would choose what we wanted to update, right? So we would have to manually go in there and give it a command, like actually click something, right? But we're not going to do it this way. I want you to open PowerShell, and this is the automated way to do it. So I want you to open PowerShell as admin, as administrator. So we're an admin, right? I want you to type in the phrase sconfig. So this is server configuration, it stands for, .exe, right? Once you click on that, There may be some spaces, but
Is there a space between S and config?
no. It's just one word. You can use sconfig.exe or sconfig.cmd. It's just a command line tool. So this basically allows us to do whatever we see in Server Manager. You see that? See what you just see there, right there? So that's basically our Server Manager, but in shell form, in code form. In this instance, what we're looking at is the update settings. We want to set that up to, I want you to select number 5. So this is where we can make our changes, right, to these settings without having to physically go and touch the settings. And we're going to use manual M. And that's going to disable the updates. Okay. And yeah, we're going to take, we'll never check for up. So now basically what happens is a lot of the times when you're working on these servers, you always get these pop-ups. And these pop-ups are like always like, oh, restart the computer. This actually allows you to choose whether or not your updates are now going to be managed by IT, and we're going to manage those servers and throw those updates automatically within our WSUS, right? So WSUS will then read it, right? So you'll get the agent installed, and that agent will allow you to install it through your MECM. And a lot of the companies will have MECM agents like Config Manager. I don't know if you ever heard of Config Manager.
I think I have.
Have you? Okay. So Config Manager is where you manage your devices and your updates. It's all
Okay.
management for application reporting. Um, it's a cool app. A lot of enterprise companies will, or a lot of corporate companies will have that. Um, Managing MECM, which is Config Manager, Endpoint Configuration Manager on premise, right? Before moving it to Intune, right? So we want to make sure that we have the ability to um, manually choose what settings we would want, right? So I want you to press 5 again. And then hit enter. Okay. So we got rid of the automatic. So this will not install. What I want to tell you is this won't install it automatically for you, which will cause automatic reboots. If you're working, if this server is our print server, for example, right? And we have 34 printers located on 7 floors in a building. And this server automatically updates and shuts down and restarts your computer. What's going to happen to those 34 printers? They're
Say
not
it
going to
again. I'm
work.
sorry.
You have a print server, for example, right? It's got 13 printers located on 17 floors, scattered among 17 floors on a 22-story condo building that the company owns, right? And you automatically enable updates, and your updates automatically occur and reboot your machine. What's going to happen to those 13 printers, network printers that are connected to your server?
I guess it could stop jobs in the middle of them working,
They're going to
or
stop working, right? They're going to stop working. So the reason why we do this is because your servers have to serve something, right? So it needs to serve something. You're not going to automatically install updates during an 8-hour shift, right? So, which will allow 18 floors and 13 printers to stop working, right? So this server needs to be on and needs to be on all the time. So we need to disable that. That's one option. Our next option is power. As you notice, your machine will power off. It'll go into sleep mode. We need to change that setting and change that to never. So I want you to click M again, M, and then enter. Accept the prompt that comes out, right? So you don't want it to automatically install your updates, right? Because we're going to manage that through Intune, or we're going to manage that through other avenues and roads. Our next one is we're going to talk about is the power management. Is power management here? So can you minimize that for me? Minimize, yeah, PowerShell. Right? I want you to close the settings, change settings. Yeah, close that. Okay. I want you to move the scroll bar to the left. Right. So, right, we did that. Okay. So we're gonna reboot this machine and it'll take into effect. But before we reboot the machine, is we see another thing I want you to do in local management before we get into the power, because that'll also work for what we're trying to solve here, is your time and date. In this instance, you don't really have to um, make changes to the time and date in this template, for example, because in this template, all the machines that are created are going to be created in your time zone, right? So if we have a machine that's in Mark's time zone, for example, in the Pacific, then we need to ensure that his template machine, right, is created based on his time zone, or his user machine is created based on his time zone, right? So these are some questions that we would have to ask. So typically we want our branch, right, that's located in the Eastern time zone to have the Eastern time zone. So where these machines are only going to be built in our time zone, right? So we need to change the time zone to Eastern and know that these machines are built only for users or devices in our time zone, right? Now we can expand that, like I said, in the Pacific, Mountain Time, Brazil time, IST time in India, European time, anytime we can make changes to that. But again, our template, we want it in one time zone. So we're going to hit OK after we applied it and just make sure that the time and date is consistent to your time and date. Typically, we would use an NTP server to make sure that our domain controllers are we would use our domain controller as an NTP server to make sure that our time and dates are they match one another and they're not off, because that might cause some issues in the foreground as well as the aforementioned background, right? On reboots or restarts. Another thing I want you to check is since we have the time zone, I want you to scroll over to the left using that slider bar. Yeah. And I want you to take a look at the Ethernet. We're not going to make any changes to the Ethernet yet. The reason why I'm not making any changes is because it's acting as a DHCP server, right? Where it communicates with our physical LAN, right? So we're not statically giving it an IP address. There's no domain name service that's given to this machine. So there's no domain service. So when we do in the future, when we do get to that point, because I will teach you guys how to do that when we create our domain controllers. Um, I'll show you how to make changes to our IP addressing in our server machines, because that'll show you the difference between a DHCP address and a static address. So if you double click on that for me, go to properties, The only thing I want you to make changes is uncheck IPv6 because we're not using Wi-Fi. That's the only change you're going to make here in this template. And then you're going to move the mouse down to IPv4, Internet Protocol version 4. And I want you to go to properties. Properties. Right? Right now it says obtain an IP address automatically. It's obtaining your DHCP from your DHCP server or from your your router, your gateway, right? So it's getting the internet from that. Um, we're not going to make any changes in here. We're just going to click OK. And once
Question,
we,
quick
yeah,
question, and maybe we can deal with this later. So
yeah,
it says obtain the IP automatically. So this is a virtual machine. This is a Type 2 virtual machine. This is a virtual machine on a Type 2 hypervisor.
yes,
So so if it was posted, if it was going to obtain an IP from a DHCP server, it'd be from what's on my actual physical laptop and what the network it's connected
right
to.
now it's connected to a NAT. There's no static IP address.
Okay.
There's no static. There's no static dynamic. There's no IPAM installed yet. There's no IPAM. So we don't have any static DHCP or dynamic IPs yet, where we're basically dynamically assigning IP addresses through IPAM because that's
Okay.
not set up. But that's a conversation to talk about when we start talking about after split scope. Because I'll explain it to you when we get that role or
Okay.
feature installed. Because you'll get to that point. But when we talk about IPAM, you'll see the difference, right? Right now it's automatically obtaining it, so it's getting using the logic in the software for VMware. It's using that logic. It's getting an IP from that logic, right? From our router. Make sense?
Got it. Okay. I'll stay tuned
Okay.
on the other piece.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what that is.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. So I
Yeah.
just press OK. As you mentioned
Yeah,
OK.
just hit okay. Yeah, yeah. I'll send you some notes on NAT, uh, the options that are in within VMware Workstation Pro. That way you have a better understanding on that. But yeah, just hit OK, close. Just make sure IPv6 is because that way you don't have to go back and forth and uncheck it each time. So that your results look a little cleaner, right? I want you to click close. Right now you have internet connectivity, so that's what we need right now. You're not going to make any name changes. You're not going to give unless you want your whole company to have a default computer name, which is not recommended in this template. Um, we're not going to do that. So that would be our last thing. And then our second last thing. Our last modification that I want in this machine template is to add the VMware tools, right? So in the workstation, in Windows Server 2012 underscore WC tab, next to the Home tab, I want you to right click on that tab at the top there, or on the side in the library, wherever, anywhere you want. No, where it says Windows Server 2012, the name of the file you gave it. Yeah, the name of the folder. The folder that you named it. That's in Server Manager.
Oh, on
Oh, and the
the
folder on the folder side on our computer. So basically,
oh,
this is the
actually, okay,
folder. Yeah, this is the virtual machine. Then there's the folder where the
right,
files sit in, right? Where all the files sit in
right. I'll pull that
on the
for you.
folder. Folder. Okay. No, no. No. Okay. Minimize that. So up above Server Manager, there's a tab. It says Windows Server 2012. Yeah, right click. Yeah, that's in the library. But yeah, right. I want you to go to install VMware tools. What happens is, as you can see, the graphics of it is generic. So it's just a basic generic graphic. So as you can see, it's very tight and very small and centered inside. Installing this VMware tools not only installs some of the metadata and services that it requires, but it also allows you to create a full screen image of this virtual machine rather than it be just a small box. So visually, you're going to see a fuller image. As you can see, as you probably saw as I was talking, a pop-up came up. What that pop-up is if you open up File Explorer, it's a yellow folder inside the virtual machine, File Explorer, yeah. You'll see that in the underneath devices and drives, you'll see DVD drive VMware tools, VM, DVD drive VMware tools, DVD, yeah, okay. This is where we're going to install our VMware tools. All right, you're going to click next, complete, and click next. This might take a little bit of time, but we're not going to restart the computer just yet.
Finish.
No, finish. We're not going to restart it yet. So say no, because we got one more modification that I want to do. I want to talk about. And okay, so you see as you can see as we're waiting, we're pausing and talking. You notice that the screen stretched a little bit. Do you see that now?
It's,
It's stretched, right? Wait.
yes.
As you can see, you'll notice that it's stretched a little bit. Do you see that it's stretched? It's now using its full capacity. Um, if you close the library column uh, frame frame
On this big
the
screen here.
so the frame no the library frame, there's a column. It's a frame column library in that page that you're looking at, right? It's designed the way it's designed. You'll see a left pane and then a
This on
center
this screen.
on
On
the left
this.
side, the left side library. Yeah, you'll see an X. That's a frame. So the library frame by design, there's an X next to library,
Um,
where library on the left side.
you mean over here, far left?
Yeah, you'll see up top there's a small X in the gray area
Oh yeah.
there. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that'll make it, yeah, close that, close it. Yeah. You see how it stretches even better. So now you get a fuller view, right? Which is what you want. Um,
Okay.
but so we're not going to restart just yet, but you'll notice that installing these VMware tools not only allows you to resolve this issue, but it also allows you to resolve other issues, right? And I'll send you some notes on that too. I'm not going to explain all of it. You can Google it or you can read, it'll explain to you what the VMware tools does. I can send you a sheet on that, but there's a lot that it does, right? It doesn't just do the screen, it does other things too. Um, our last point is if you go to the start menu, right click on the start menu, I want you to locate power settings or power management and the start. If you right click on start, that's our last step, power management.
I'm not familiar with this interface. I'm not sure where start
So
is.
Windows, in your Windows interface, you're not familiar how to
The
get to
bottom?
power?
Okay.
Yeah, power. No, that's your laptop. You're in the virtual machine.
All right. Down here. Okay.
Yeah, right click.
Yeah.
And you'll see if you right click on it, right click on
Here.
that. Well, yeah, you gotta look, you gotta search for, yeah, you gotta search for, these are all the apps, but you gotta search for power management. It could be an administrative tool. It could be that, or it could be in the control panel.
Yeah.
Go to control panel. Just click on control panel.
The control panel.
Yeah. Okay. Just double click. Left click. Yeah. All right. So go back to category.
Oh,
Category.
okay. I was gonna mess, dude. Maybe try
Yeah.
that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, yeah, you could do the search, but if you go to category two, it'll show you. Can you click on, yeah, click on power options? There you go. So this is where we're gonna create a power plan and see what the power does. So if I were to leave this machine on, and this is a critical machine that needs to stay on, right? This machine needs to stay on at all times. It's, remember in our example, it's holding, it's running a file share, or it's running printers 24/7, right? So we need to ensure that this machine doesn't power off. Not only that it installs these operating system, the updates and restarts our machine on, or right, but it also needs to run our group policies and needs to have these settings up and running um, for our devices to run, right, to do its work, right. So our last setting here that we're going to touch base on, and our, I call it our last mod, is to choose what the power button does and to choose when to power off the display. Now, typically, if I'm leaving this machine on and I run off, by default, it's saying it's set up to 5 or 10. If you click on choose when to turn off the display, as you can see, by default, Microsoft sets the display in 10 minutes. So if I'm gone and I don't move the mouse for 10 minutes, it'll turn off the display, which means that it'll turn off the display. And we don't want that. We want it to stay on at all times so that we're able to see what's going on, right? And it doesn't shut off. So what I'm going to do is I want you to change the setting from 10 to never, right? And then save changes. And this is a balanced plan. Then I also want you to go to choose what the power button does. Choose what the power button does. Right? And we can now, for kiosk mode, we can actually choose not to actually power off the machine, right? So if I have a kiosk machine in my office where, it's got a catalog of services that I offer, and by accident a kid comes and powers off the machine, it'll won't power off the machine and recycle the machine. It'll just stay as is, right? So at this point, we would want to make sure that we would require a password, and that option is set, which is what we want, right? So that if we're trying to access their data after powering off the machine, we're not able to access anything else, right? So require a password, and that involves us to enable Control Alt Delete, which is a group policy we can use, and that's actually a control setting. If you hit the Windows key and R with the Control Alt Delete,
Top menu system settings.
no, do Windows key on your keyboard and R. Run. I need you to go to run. Yeah, right click on the start menu, run. So either our shortcut key for that is Windows key and then R at the same time. Plus R. Yeah, run. And that's where, yeah. So I want you to type in control. And this is where we can actually control or control alt delete, right? Because sometimes you want the control alt delete option and you can never find out where it is. This is what we do. So control space, user passwords, 2. User passwords, 2. One word. Words, 2. With an S. Passwords with an S. See if that works. And then hit OK. Yeah, there we go. So if you go to advanced settings, so this is where administrator password, this is where we can manage our user accounts. right? If we were able to log in, we can manage that here. But you see where it says secure sign-in?
Yeah.
Just make sure that's checked, right? So ensure that for security reasons, we require users to press Control Alt Delete. In a server environment, you want that set up. You don't want it even in a laptop, a user's laptop, or your user's PC. You would want that set up, right? That'll guarantee that the sign-in screen, authentic Windows sign-in screen, appears, right? And that'll protect the system from having any programs mimic a sign-in to retrieve your password info, right? So that also is important, right? When you're pressing buttons and you're having people that are not supposed to be pressing buttons, right? So just hit OK for now because we know that that's set. And if you press Control Alt Delete on your screen and lock your screen for me,
Do what
press
now?
Control inside the virtual machine. I want you to press the three buttons.
You don't want me to use that top thing at the top? Sal? Sal?
Yeah. So in our physical machines, we would use our keyboards, right? Um, we would use the control key, the alt key, and the delete key to open up our interactive user sign-in logs, right? In this case, it's a little different in our virtual machines. In our virtual machines, it's not set up where our physical keyboard can interact with those key functions in a Hyper-V environment, in a hypervisor 2 environment, right? So the good thing about it is VMware Workstation created a key. And if you see at the bottom there, at the top there, you'll see three boxes with an arrow pointing down, where it says help next to help, the help button. You'll see two orange lines. Yeah, move your mouse up. Move your mouse up. Your mouse. Yeah, move up. No, like all the way to the top where it says workstation, VMware Workstation, all the way to the top, all the way to the top, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way up, up, up. Okay. If you move down, you see the three boxes there? Yeah, that's it. So that basically sends our Control Alt Delete to the screen. By clicking this, it won't send it to our laptop, but it'll send it to our virtual machine. In this instance, it's our server. Does that make sense?
So
So if I'm
that's what we
doing,
want to do.
yeah, that's what we want to do. You don't want to press Control Alt Delete on your screen, right? On
Right,
your
understand.
keyboard,
I
but
got
you
that.
want to use this keyboard. And this is where we can manage, change passwords, switch users, sign out, and lock the screen. So if we were to lock the screen now, and I hope you remember your password.
I do.
Okay. Lock your screen, right? This will give us the Control Alt Delete. You see at the top there? What I just showed you.
Hmm.
So I want you to press that again now. The button, not on your keyboard, but the button, because you're on your virtual machine, and then enter in your password. You with me?
Yes.
Okay. So just remember, on a laptop, you've got a keyboard. On a virtual machine, you don't. So you have to kind of, and then ESXi is the same way. There's a button you got to click on. So it doesn't allow you that interaction. There's no drivers for a keyboard um, that are necessary to, in this instance, to actually elaborate or you know or install. You're just pressing that button, which is what we want. Okay, so I want you to open up the PowerShell command prompt, and I want you to exit. So that's the last. That was the last modification that we want to do so far. There's some other modifications, but there's no need to show you them. There's about 20, there's about 20 to 30 different modifications that I can give you, but in this instance, we don't need them. It's just a lab environment. So I want you to open up PowerShell within your virtual machine. But these are some basic ones that I want you to understand. And I want you to type in the number exit to command line 15 and then hit enter. Enter. So you can actually rename, you can do whatever you want with this PowerShell. So I can remote in from this to this machine and make changes without having to physically touch the interface, right? So I can remove Server Manager and technically do all the work in Server Manager in here, right? In a serverless environment without a GUI. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So if I'm doing this without a GUI, I can do it in here. So sconfig. You exit. Okay, so close that. So exit or X out. Yeah. Right. So let's review what we've done so far. We've installed the operating system. We've confirmed our time and date status, our time and currency. We installed it on one on one disk, right? That you've created logically on within your VMware files. We modified the time and date. We've enabled an internet connection for you so that you're able to browse the internet. We've modified our updates so that it doesn't automatically update any recent updates, because we don't have to do it in our lab. This is just a lab, it's a template. You can do this later on manually yourself if you want, or manage it through a third party like MECM or Intune, right? And that way you have these updates readily installed uh, with whatever automation you want, right? So if you want to go through WSUS, if you want to go through MECM, or you just want to go through Intune, you can modify and automate those however you want, right? We've also talked about installing the VMware tools, which was important. That allows to install its metadata and other files that allow for the screen resolution to stretch and proportionally, and install other features that are involved within that. We also talked about our time and date, because our 7 machines that we're going to create, our template machine is going to be created in the same time zone that you are. Just ensure that that time zone is set to the time zone that's actually connected to your NTP server or DC, right? Or if you want to create a template that's for 7 other machines in the Pacific region, then just ensure that your template allows for that and synchronization to your DC, right? Or your NTP server. And that can be actually modified, but in this instance, we just want to create these 7 servers within that time zone and time frame, right? Our keyboard settings are set up. Our power management is now set up where if we leave this machine for 10 minutes, it won't shut off. It'll move into the Control-Alt-Delete screen, but it won't power off your machine, right? You just need to sign in and everything will work as is. Which will obviously help save those machines, those printers, if you got a print server, or access to your file servers in, like, say, for example, your finance department or your sales department. So we're going to reboot this machine. So I want you to reboot this machine. I want you to use the start menu to reboot the machine, the virtual machine. So we're not rebooting your laptop, we're rebooting your virtual machine. Right now, this is a virtual machine, right? It's not a bare metal anymore.
So we're gonna do Control-Alt-Delete with the three boxes.
Yeah, but you can do it within.
Okay, let's try it that way.
Yeah, yeah. So you can go to the
So
the
from
power button at the top, the power button.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. And then this is how you would restart your machine. And then you would give it a reason. So we would give it a reason saying software. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Software application installation plan or make application installation plan. Just be aware that you need to know why for auditing. We need to make sure that when you do power off your machines,
Mhm.
you need to have a valid reason as to why.
Yeah.
That's audit and Active Directory and IAM, right? So just make sure that if you are the people that are rebooting this machine, they're choosing a reason as to why. Click continue. So right now you can actually go in and take out the ISO if you want. It's up to you. You don't really have to keep it in there because that might also, if you go back to the Windows server tab, folder tab, the folder tab up top. Yeah. The folder that we created for the files. Yeah. Next to the home folder. Move your mouse above Control Delete to sign in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right click on that. I want you to remove the ISO because we don't need it anymore. So go to the settings and remove the ISO. So this is unmounting it, right? Or unmounting it could be mounting it through the within the software and then right clicking and unmount. Yeah. So
They do here.
yeah. Yeah.
There's no other choices.
No, there's no other choice, right? So but we could there's another way to do this, right? Because the machine is on, it won't allow you. But when the machine is off, it'll allow you to move to use the physical drive, right? So this is basically your connection, right? So it'll auto detect what physical drive it's using, sort of like your boot menu in the BIOS. Um, this is where you would remove the CD DVD, right? You don't really need it. A lot of the people do leave it in there, but you don't need it, right? So what I'll do is when you sign in, I'll show you how to unmount it. So I want you to cancel. Just make sure that your device status is connect power on as well. That's all good. That's another setting that I want you to do, but we're going to unmount it and then create the template because the template does not have to have this ISO in there, right? So we need to remove it. So I need you to Control Delete, sign into the machine for me. By now you should be able to manipulate or maneuver yourself around this. I want you to go to File Explorer, right? And where it says DVD, Drive D, right click. No, go back. Don't click on anything. Yeah, right click. Okay. And then eject. So this will eject the CD DVD, right? And now if you go back to the settings, you'll see that it's gone. So close that out. Yeah, X out. Yeah. It's connected. The connected box came out because the status is disconnected. You see that? So that's what that is. If the machine is off, you would then make sure that you're not connecting this device. It's not connected, but you're also not connecting it at power on. So you're unchecking the connect at power on because you don't want to connect the CD DVD. Yeah. And then hit OK. Now you can see different settings in Workstation Pro, Wayne. When you power off the machine, you're able to see that grayed out. You see where it says grayed out? You can actually change that later on, but you can delete the sentence inside there if you want as well too. But just make sure it's not connected, right? So that's there's two options to disconnect or eject or unmount the CD DVD. So there's the button within the settings of the virtual machine, or there's the eject button within the software operating system, right? So you're going to File Explorer, you're right clicking, and you're choosing the eject button. Easy?
Yep. Simple. Yep.
Makes
Yep.
sense?
That's it.
Makes sense?
It makes sense.
So
It makes sense.
so
Yeah.
that's why the buttons are there for, because if we can disconnect it from the top, from the actual file itself, but typically you would do it inside the operating system, right? So you would go in and you would eject the CD DVD without having to physically touch anything, because that actually ruins it. Back in the days, we used to have laptops and desktops with CD DVD drivers, and people would always press the button on that power, on the tower, on the PC tower, or on the laptop, and that made me nervous. And that actually ruins. That actually is bad for the laptop, right? So just make sure that you're not doing that. Okay, so let's move on. Once once these settings and these options are set, we're now going to create a template for this machine. The template's really easy. Okay. Um, what I want you to do is a few things. In When we create the template machine, we've installed the workstation to the latest trial, and I see a question here. I think we'll come back to that. And yeah, so I'm just gonna wrap up in about 25 minutes or so. Wayne, if that's okay with you.
It's
Okay. So we're going to talk about template, and then we're going to create the template. And then in our next session, we're going to create a clone of this template. But I want to install Hyper-V, right? So that's my main goal. So we're going to create this template, right? We know that our Workstation Pro is the latest trial. We created our virtual machine wizard. Now, what we've given the hard disk space, we have assigned the memory, we've installed it, we selected the GUI version of the data center, which is what we want. We've given it a password. We've logged in with that administrative password, right? We've given our modification changes to make our private lab, right? So this is sort of like our private lab. So we've installed our VMware tools. We restarted the machine. We didn't turn off the firewall. We don't want to leave it off right now because there's no point. We've enabled shared folder. We've changed the time zone. We've turned off IE security. We didn't turn it off yet because we didn't have to, but we can if we want to. Um, and we've changed the unlock screen. So in order to avoid locking your screen every now and then, we went into power settings and we changed the time to never for locking the screen, right? We've done all that stuff. Now our final step is in this modification is to run a sysprep. Do you know what a sysprep is?
no, not yet.
No. Okay, so sysprepping a machine is pretty straightforward. So what we need to do is in the run command, so we're gonna use the keyboard shortcut run, or right click on the, yeah, run. We're gonna type in, no, in the run command. Oh yeah, you can do that too. Run. Yeah, yeah. Run. Enter. Enter. No space. Run, no space. Yeah, enter. Okay. If that doesn't work, then go to the start window icon at the bottom left corner of your screen. Right click on that. Right click. Go back. Go back. Type in run. Search bar run. Run. Yeah, enter. All right. So on the bottom left corner of that screen, I want you to type in the word sysprep, SYS prep, one word, and then hit enter. So right now we're sysprepping this machine. What this does is this will actually shut down the machine forever type of thing. So that way it's not being used, right? It's just the template machine that we're going to use to create other machines. So that way you don't have to create this machine, the same machine 100 times, right? Or different, create them manually 100 times when you could just clone these machines 100 times. So I want you to choose sysprep file. That's in that file, that folder. Yeah. Double click. This will open up another window. So this is our preparation tool. I want you to keep OOB selected. I want you to check mark generalize. And we're not going to reboot this machine. We're going to shut it down forever, right? So our shutdown option, we're going to select shut down and then hit OK. Hit OK. Shut down and then hit OK. Right? So this is what it's doing. It's sysprepping the machine and it's shutting it down forever. So at this point, we're not even able to use this machine anymore, right? If I want to know the problem, the thing with sysprep is it creates an SSID, it's called a security identifier number. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that every machine is going to have that SSID number. Each machine has its own user and its own machine name. So we're able to tell our users who we are, right? And tell it what name we gave it, right? So this template will have the same host name, but won't have the same SID number, right? So every time you create the clone from this template, it'll give it a different SID. So once the virtual machine is shut down, I want you to right-click the shutdown template machine. Right-click on the shutdown template, right-click on it. Well, it's from the libraries, but what I want you to do is go to manage. Yeah, manage. Yeah. And then click clone and then select full clone. Right. So as you can see, this is a machine that we've created, right? Now we're able to now create a full clone of this. So this is where we would go ahead and create the full clone. But before I do that, I want you to cancel. That's how we clone. Okay, we'll clone it in our next session. Before we do that, this machine is shut down, but it's not shut down forever. The way we shut these machines down is, you see the memory of the device? It's at 4 GB. I want you to click on it and move the slider all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom. So I want you to give 4 MB. 4 MB. So 4 MB. Okay, and then hit OK. So even if I'm a contractor and I get curious and I'm like, hey, what is this machine? Oh, it's a server. And I click on it and I try to power it on. Look what happens. I'll show you what happens. Click on power. So this machine doesn't have enough memory to even power on, right? So there you go. So this machine has sufficient memory. So this is our template machine. We can now create clones from these machines. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I can create a clone. So I can go to manage, like I showed you. I can go from the shutdown machine. I can go, but it has to be shut down, right? And this is how we're going to create the clone. So right click, manage. So we're going to create something, right? Manage, right? And clone. And we're going to do full clone. So we're going to create another one of these machines.
We have to change that setting back on that memory, but the clone's already created.
No,
So
no, no, no. It's all good. It's all good. It doesn't affect anything. It'll create a 4 MB machine. It's very small. in memory. So it doesn't even take up space, these templates, is what I'm trying to say. So what you're going to do is give it a name. You're going to give it today's date. You're going to name it whatever you want. You're going to give it its name, right? Whatever name you want. But this is creating the folder. You're not creating the name inside the machine. You're giving it a folder name, right? So whatever you want to call it.
You want to keep cloning the name?
Sure, you could call it. You could call it whatever you want. No, just to denote, it's our lab environment. We could call it what. But in a professional environment, we're gonna call it. We're gonna give it a name, right? We have naming conventions for that. And then choose the location. Don't forget, the location is based out of your USB drive, right? So we're gonna browse and change the location. So we've changed the date. We know this machine's a clone. Right? We know that you've created a clone now of your template machine today, right? And it's good for 6 months. And we're going to
Change
save that
this.
virtual machine. Yeah, Wayne's virtual machine. And you're going to create a new folder. So you're going to make a new folder and you're going to give it the same name. No, you're going to create a new folder. Don't rename it. Create a new folder. Yeah. And you're going to give it the same. Yeah, just highlight yeah, well just do it again. Just close it. Copy. Yeah. Yeah, I won't allow you. Cancel. Right. Okay. Copy the whole thing. Oh, Control A. Control A. Yeah, and Control C. So append it and then copy, which is a little quicker shortcut for you. But okay. Then go back to that folder, and then you'll see where it says new folder. Right click on it and rename. You'll see a folder called new folder. Right click, new folder. Right click, rename, and then paste. Paste. All right. Enter. Okay. I want you to browse again, and I want you to select that folder you just created. Select it. It's got today's date, which is the 24th. Is that the right one? Yeah. And then finish. So this will now basically clone your machine using least amount of memory. So it's going to be really quick because there's not a lot of information that's transferring. So this is going to be a little quick. And then once it creates the files, right? You should now be able to move the memory counter from 4 megabytes to 4 and then turn it on. So, and then from now on, this machine, the 16th of June, you're going to change the name to template in front of that. So we know that every time you want to create a new machine now, that's a Windows Server 2012, you're going to use this template to create clones out of this template, right? So you're not going to touch the 4 megabytes. You're not going to touch the processor. You're not going to touch anything. You're just going to rename it. So click done because it created the clone. So you'll see it open now. It's going to open it next to the virtual machine. So if you go to memory and move the slider from 4 MB to 4 GB, you should be able to turn it on now with the settings that we gave it, right? So the settings will be there. Just remember, 1 gigabyte is equal to 1024 megabytes, right? So 4 GB is 4096. So power on the machine. And then as you're powering it on, I want you to rename the folder up top to template. So we know that's a template. Request, oh, it's powering on maybe already. Just let it go. Just leave it alone. I want you to rename the folder up the tab, the gray tab there. First one. Can I hit control?
I got to rename the folder, right?
No, not the folder. Forget the folder now. Yeah, the actual name, so we know that what it's called up top. The library, the name.
You want me to share? Okay.
Yeah. Let me see if I can do this. It might be a little bit quicker. So if I go to the Windows Server 2012 folder next to clone, I can rename that if I right click on it.
Teams here and looking
Anything
for
good?
your request.
Oh, I'm requesting now. Okay. I don't see anything yet.
Still looking for the request.
Nothing yet.
Uh,
Just
oops.
remember, yeah, everything's set the way it is. Perfect. Set next. So remember, this clone doesn't have an administrator. So you created one on your template, but you didn't create one on this machine yet. So this is where GPs might come in handy. So create the same password if you want, so you don't forget. You can create a different password if you want. Just remember, this machine is your clone. It's your new machine now. It's your print server. It's your file share server. It's your DHCP server. It's your DNS server. It's your RAS server. It could be whatever server you want it to be.
Okay.
Make sense?
All right.
Right? Okay, I didn't take control yet. So if you move your mouse, let me try again.
See it.
I want you to rename that folder for me.
The folder of the on the virtual machine.
Not on the virtual machine, not on the file, on the folder within Workstation Pro. There's a folder, library. You know where the library is? There's a library. If you see, yeah. No. Yeah. Okay, so if you move your mouse up
Yeah.
above Control Delete, right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, right there. The first tab, not where it says home, next to it. Yeah, right click, rename. Right click. No, on the folder tab. Yeah, right click, rename. Are you able to rename it?
I can manage it.
Manage it. No, won't let you rename it. Okay, go to
Because
library. Okay, so go to view, the view button or view option. Go to library. I need you to go to the library. So there's three buttons. You see where the wrench is, the tool wrench, the blue tool wrench? There's a blue and orange tool wrench. To the right of that, yeah, click on that. That's library. Please familiar yourself with these options. So if you right click on that now, you can see the rename. Yeah, not this one, the other one. On the other one. Your template machine. You're renaming your template machine, which would be, yeah, rename. And then in front of Windows Server, type in template. So we know that that's a template. And you can actually organize this later on. Just please familiar yourself with these buttons. So know where the library is. Know the know which tabs are used and what's not used. So at the top, there's all those tabs. Those are like your servers. Those are your machines, right? Um, know how to access the clone and how to access the template and how to access the settings. So perfect. We have clone and we have template. So this machine is off. So when you want to create another machine now, Wayne, which is what you're going to do, is create another machine, right? For next week, please create 2 clone machines. Okay? I want you to create another clone machine. So how do you create the clone machine from your template? Can you show me?
you start the template.
Yeah. So you would right click from your template, manage.
Okay. Current states, full clone. And I can rename it here so it won't get confused with the other name.
Yeah. Do you want to know your SS? And I also want you to test the SIDs, because the SIDs will also tell you whether or not these machines are the same or not the same. They'll have
I
different
need to
SID
change the
numbers.
location here too, right? The
The
location needs to
location, that's right, the location, yeah. So you create another folder.
in this virtual
Yeah,
machine deal.
yeah. Which is good because we're going to use these 2 clones now as our DHCP for replication. We're going to replicate between the two. So that's what I wanted you to create these for. So you can call this whatever you want. You don't even have to call it clone. You can call it server 2, server 1, call it whatever you want. In another folder.
I was trying to copy the name on the slide, but
Oh, I see. Yeah, so prepare yourself. Just remember, prepare yourself before you rename something, like, so that way you don't have to worry about it. Sometimes I forget to copy, and then I'll have to close out of the browse for folder and then copy it and then change the location. So copy that. So that's going to be clone number 2. So we know that Wayne created clone number 2 from his template. All right. Yep. Paste. All right. Just make sure it's highlighted, or else it won't recognize it. Yeah. All right. So you see where it says folder, new folder, it won't recognize it if you press enter. You see the slider below it? There's a slider. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Try to do it again. Yeah. Enter. Okay. That's okay. Try to select another folder. Yeah. Just select another folder. Yeah, okay. See, it's selected. Perfect. Press OK. And then that's the wrong path,
it's
right?
actually in the wrong
Path. Okay, so you have to
wrong
move it.
path.
So yeah. So it's okay. Just create another one.
Oh, I know it is. I'm in the wrong deal.
Drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just
Wayne's virtual machines. Right. And then new folder. Right click. Is there anything in there? No, that's okay.
I
Rename.
sure hope not.
Paste. Okay. Just
Enter.
make sure that it's yeah. Hold on a second. Now select the right one. Yeah. So that it highlights it. Yeah, highlight and select it. Okay. Go browse again. Okay. Press OK. You're good. Press OK. Finish. All right. So it's cloning another machine. All right. So I want you to go to your first clone and log in. While it's doing that, go to your first clone. You should be able to go to your first clone now. Or it doesn't let you do that either.
So it doesn't allow me to.
It's not hot swappable. Okay. That's okay.
It was RAM intensive.
Yeah, probably. No, it's just the memory contents. It doesn't understand the
It's 4
instructions.
megabytes of memory. So
No, it's a set of instructions. It doesn't understand that it needs to do 2 things at once, right?
right.
So I sent you some instructions on clones.
Okay.
And
I see
we're
it.
gonna so the first line is who am I /user. We're gonna go to the clone, our clone 1, and we're gonna type that information in. And then you can also do that for your template. You'll see that.
So this is just so I get the detail here.
Tell me.
So I'm gonna go to clone 1 and I'm gonna type in something to do with the SID.
Yeah. So close that. So right now you have two clones,
Okay.
right?
So I
Clone
can go
1.
to it.
Now, hold on. Clone 1, before you
Uh-huh.
power it on, right? You need to make changes to the memory. So you need to change the 4 megabytes to 4 gigabytes.
Oh, clone 2 or clone 1?
Yeah. Clone
Which one?
2. Clone 2. Because it's a clone of your template, right? Remember,
Right, I get that.
we powered off your machine, right? We don't want to turn it on. We sysprepped it. We prepared it to power off. We've now given it 4 megabytes, which is
Right, got it.
that's not even enough RAM to power it on. Like, you can't power anything on with 4 megabytes.
Right, got it. Uh-huh.
Right. So hit OK. Right. So
But
right
we were
now
gonna do something with clone 1. That's what I was.
yes. But yes, and then I want you to power on clone 2 after. So go to clone 1, Control Alt Delete, which is the button. Yeah. Just familiar yourself with the buttons, right? Library, familiar yourself with tabs, options. That way you get quicker at this, right? Yes. Okay. Open PowerShell. Type in cmd.exe. cmd .exe. Just say yes. Okay. Okay. Do Control Delete. Put in your password. All right. Open PowerShell. Type in cmd.exe. Enter. All right. Type in who am I /user. All right. This will give us our SSID. I want you to take a mental note of this, right? Take a picture of this. And I want you to go on your template machine, give yourself 4 GB, and then do exactly, well, you can't really do that, but your SID of this machine is going to be different from the one in Clone 2. So you're going to see how these machines are going to differ. So I want you to take a mental note of this and put it in the chat, or take a picture of it and put it in the chat. Okay. All right. You good?
Yes.
All right. So put that in our chat. So this SID and this user, well, the users are the same, but you'll notice that the computer name is going to be different and the SID is going to be different, right? And then I want you, okay, and I want you to put it in our chat.
Trying to figure out how to do that.
Okay, I put a picture in our chat of it.
Control
But
print. Okay, I get it.
yeah, I was gonna say copy the whole thing for us, like copy the actual words in PowerShell.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could copy the user information, copy it, yeah, and then just do a right click. Right click, we'll copy it, and then paste.
Okay, I'm not sure. We'll see. I'm not having faith in this right now.
Yeah, it's okay.
Um, yep. I think it did. Yeah, there it is. Yep.
And then paste it in our chat.
Just did.
Nothing yet.
Oh, I'm so. There it is.
Okay, got it. Perfect. All right, wait. So I got it. Perfect. All right. So just remember that this SID and the SID and Clone 2 are going to be very similar, right? And leave this machine on to show you the difference, right? So minimize. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to go to Clone 2 now, and we're going to power it on. Power it on. It's at 4 GB, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Just make sure that it's at 4 GB. Please make sure when you're creating a clone, you're moving from the template, you're moving that because you need to turn it off completely. Like it's just a template. Just metadata. It's like contents. It's just the memory contents, right? And then I want you to open command prompt like we did and take a look at the difference. This one ends in 500, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might have to create a username for it, an administrator username, because it's a new machine. But the SID should never be the same. Yeah, just hit OK. Everything's good. Yeah. Remember, in autopilot, in imaging, we get rid of this stuff, right? Like when you create templates, you'll have GPOs that are applied to the image, right? To your golden image. where you don't have to do all this stuff. But in a physical environment with physical laptops and desktops, you're gonna have to go through this thing, right? Just like a virtual machine. So do a control delete. All right, log in. And I want you to open up PowerShell and type in command.exe and then do the who am I slash user. Do host name first, one word, and then who am I slash user. Hit yes. And you'll see that if you go into the template, if you go into the local server now, go to local server, you should see the manual, the updates were manual. Your time and date is Eastern, right? You didn't touch your firewall. If you go to the power, you have your VMware tools installed. It says you must log. You see how VMware tools is installed? You just got to hit OK. Sign in again. So it recognized that you did have virtual VMware tools, so you don't have to worry about changing the size, which is part of my golden image that I've created for you with these modifications. And if you go to Power Management, right click on the Start menu, right click, go to Power Options. You'll see that the options are choose what to turn off the display. The fifth option, choose when to turn off the display. If you click on that for me, you'll see that it's on never, 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 never. No, not that one. That one was defaulted. Yeah, this one. So you'll see how it's never, never, right? So you don't have to worry about doing all that, and that's the best. That's the automation part of it, right? You don't have to worry about that, right? So it's all done. So you can create 17 of these machines that are virtual, right? And you can have them as RAS servers, you can have them as print servers, file share servers, DHCP servers, et cetera, et cetera. But these two clones that we just created, I want you to recreate them again, delete them and recreate them again. Get some practice. That way you have it for our next class. I want you to open PowerShell. So I want you to have 4 clones. How much RAM do you have?
24 gigs total.
24 gigs total? Okay, perfect. If you right click on your laptop and go to Task Manager, not on the virtual machine, but on your laptop, go to Task Manager. Sorry, I'm going back and forth between things, but go to Performance. Performance. All right. Okay, good. You're at 18, which is 77. So I can put another 2 machines on here, so you can have 4 total. Perfect. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that for updating your laptop. That's great. Thank you for doing that. That's awesome. Host name, one word. Enter. So that's your machine name. And what do we say our machine name was? 6RBGG. Yeah. So our clone 1 name is Win-2KVGCG6RBGG. So as you can see, it gave it a new name. In the next tab, yeah, you'll see it. If you'll match, you won't. It doesn't match. And then we're looking for the SID. So what you're going to do is type in who am I space user. And I want you to copy and paste that. Who am I in the next line? PowerShell. Yeah. Who am I slash user. If it doesn't work, then type in command.exe. Dash. You got to put the argument. There's no argument. The user is the argument. It's the, yeah. Who am I slash user. No spaces. You could have a space between the I and the dash, but okay, type in command prompt, command.exe, because it doesn't work in PowerShell. Command.exe. cmd.exe. enter, and then who am I/user. You can use the up arrow, up arrow, up,
Consistent.
up arrow.
Don't allow me to use it.
Oh, it doesn't allow you to up and down. Oh, the last doesn't give you the last command, eh? Oh, there you go. So there's your SSID, right? So if you look at the last 10 digits, 604688, can you copy and paste that? They're not the same. So we now basically proved that these two machines were this template machine. We created two clones and both share different host names and both share different SIDs, right? If that didn't work, then these machines wouldn't you couldn't use them. So we proved that through a template machine that you created together with modifications in it. We've created two clone machines that are going to act as our one's going to act as our AD, our domain controller, and the other one's going to act as our member server that's going to have a DHCP role only. Now, the reason why I want you to do that is so that we can test our split scope, right? A lab, and we're going to test our replicating lab, right? So that's why I had you build two clones. Before we leave, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to get you to go to clone one for me and clone one. And I want you to install the Hyper-V role for me, just for now, just because I wanted to help you with the Hyper-V role uh, based on our last session. So this one here, we're going to be on this machine, we're going to use it as our domain controller. And our second clone is going to be our DHCP server. So it's going to act as our member server that's going to communicate with each other on the same domain. So I'm also going to show you how to create a domain, local domain. So you'll get a little bit of knowledge and training on that as well too. Um, so before we go, I want you to learn how to install Hyper-V. So go to the control panel. Go to the control panel. Control panel on clone one. Yeah. And I want to make sure that the Hyper-V role isn't installed yet. So remember how we did that last time? So I want you to go to control panel, categories, category, small icons, or type in programs and features. Well, there's a button on the second row, second column, the fourth last one, second column. Yeah, click on that. Go to turn Windows features on or off. Okay. So it looks like it's not installed yet, right? So we're going to click next here. And this will install our role and feature, right? For our Hyper-V. We're going to click next. Next. Right? And as you can see, you'll see the two different options, right? Yeah. Click next. So this will install the module plus the management tools, which is what we want. Add feature. Okay. So this is the issue. Windows cannot be installed. A hypervisor is already running. So what I want you to do is, in order to fix this, I've given you two pieces of information to add to the file. So I want you to open up the VMX file for clone. Can you open that file for me, the VMX? And then we should be done. This should work. And then give me about 5 more minutes. We should be done. If you open up the VMX file, VM directory. I want you to open up the VMX file, VMX. Yeah, you have to adjust the name column. Name column? Yeah. So we're looking for VMX. Yeah, double click on that, open, right click and edit or open with. Yeah. And we're going to open it with Notepad. So I just sent you two pieces of information that I want you to add to the bottom of this file. So I want you to go to Teams and I want you to copy and paste exactly and paste it at the bottom in a new line. Yeah. Just make sure that the commas are yeah. So just make sure that the spaces are good. Because remember, if the spaces are not the same or the commas are wrong, it won't take it. I would delete the commas and use the commas on your keyboard.
There's no commas in the
Yeah,
chat.
with the ones that are they should be exactly the same. If the
You mean the
commas are
quotes?
the quotes, if they're not the same, then it won't work.
Yeah, I copied it, so it should be the same.
Okay, try to delete it and use your keyboard. See what happens. It might
You
be
want me to
different.
delete the quotes?
Yeah, delete the quotes and put new quotes in because sometimes the quotes will be different. I want to make sure that the quotes are the same. It might screw up the code, so it won't work if you don't use the right quote. So I want you to use these quotes for now. Yeah. And I want you to save it. And then I want you to save it. Save, save. Yeah. Click close that or minimize. Yeah. Close that. Close it. All right. Try again. Press OK and try again. This should work now. Hit OK. Okay. Click on it and then click next. Add features. Next. Next. Finish. This should work. Hit OK.
Do I need to close the file and I have it open?
Yeah. Did you save it?
I
If you
saved it,
save
yeah.
it, it should work. Okay. So close it. Okay. So restart the machine.
Restart
Restart
the
the
whole
machine.
machine.
Yeah. Yeah. Just restart. No, not the machine. The VM, please.
How did I get here again?
So go to clone. So you're restarting clone one. So please restart clone one.
Um, Up here. Restart. Restart here.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Let's give it a restart. This should work. And then I want you to go to. Oh, sorry. I want you to go to the settings and enable Intel VTX. Enable it. Right click on the top. Yeah. No, no, no. So
Got it.
settings. Yeah.
You
So
with me?
turn off. Yeah, you have to turn off the machine. And then can you give? Yeah, turn off the machine. And do you remember what I told you? To get the virtualization, you have to turn off the machine, right? So it's basically on the motherboard. So this has to do with the motherboard. So you have to turn off the machine and then do that. Try again. So power off. Power off. Yeah. Power off. Power off. Okay. Try again. Settings. Edit virtual settings machines. Is there a way for me to take control?
That's a good question. Do you need to go to settings here?
Yeah. Settings. All right. Go to processors. Virtualize. Yeah. Check virtualize Intel VT. Yeah. Hit OK. Hit OK. Power on the machine. Power on this virtual machine. All right. This should work now. So you won't get that. All right. Click OK. Click yes.
Any thoughts here?
No, it should work. Oh, I don't know why it's not working because it disables. So the first line of code disables the CPU ID, right? Which won't allow like your guest operating system. It prevents it from detecting that, right? So whatever's running inside a virtual environment. So that's kind of crucial for our environment, which is nested, because Hyper-V relies on this bit. And then we can use the MCE, which is the machine check exception. And then that's basically for some nested virtualization scenarios. It should work, but it's okay. You know what? Let's do Hyper-V another. We'll do Hyper-V another day. I want you to install the. Just hit OK for now. Hit OK. I want you to go to Edit Virtual Machine Settings. We may have to upgrade to 216
Okay.
just because I don't want to spend too much time troubleshooting because it works on mine. Not sure why it's not working, but I'm running Workstation Pro 15, which is a little bit newer, older, right? So okay, so I want you to disable the Intel VTX and then power on the machine. Yeah. It looks fine. Like there's nothing. The line of code is supposed to help fix. It allows us to work. Allows Hyper-V to work when we're in this VMware virtual machine. So we modified that as a guest VM, right? And we've given those two lines of code, and that should right there should allow it to work. Can you? Is the machine power? Did we do this with the machine powered on or the machine powered off? I did. I
We
think we
just
did it powered on or off. Do you remember? Did we power it off? Then do
I
the
think
line of
we did
code?
the last step. I think I want to say we did, but I'm not
What? Okay.
100%.
I want you to do this. I want you to power off, not now, but I want you to power off your clone machine or clone 2 machine. I want you to try this. I want you to power it off. I want you to open the VMX file, edit in edit mode with Notepad, and then add those 2 lines of code that I gave you. I want you to save it. Then I want you to power it back on, log back in, and try again. Try installing a Hyper-V role because it should work. I'm a little confused as to why it's not working. If not, we'll have to do it through. What I can do is get you to use the PowerShell version of it instead. Here, I'll give you the line of code if that doesn't
Instead of the GUI.
work. Yeah, because it should work. It should work, right?
Okay.
And here are the docs. The docs. I give you some docs. I want you to try this on your own time. But for in this machine, what we're gonna do is install ADDS. So I want you to go to add rules and features. We're gonna install our domain controller. I want you to try this later on. So yeah, yeah. I want you to go to tools. I just want you to install ADDS role, and then
Okay.
we'll continue on. Give me. I promise it'll be another 2 more minutes. Go to add and remove add roles number 2 in the dashboard. Add roles and features.
Is
Add
this
role.
good?
Add
Am I in
roles
the
and
right
features.
menu?
No, so the left menu in the middle. Add roles and features. Number 2. Add roles and features. Yeah. Next, and we're gonna install ADDS. So this machine clone 1 is gonna be our domain controller. Next, next, next. Okay, ADDS, which is a second option. All right. Click next, add features. Next,
And this is
next.
clone 1. Okay.
This is
Okay.
clone 1. Yeah. We're going to make this a DC. Next, next, next. Okay, install. So I'm gonna end this session for today, Wayne. Once it finishes, it should take a minute or so. What I want you to do in the meantime is, as homework, I want you to take that line of code from PowerShell and run it into PowerShell. Actually, you could do that now while we're waiting. And if it doesn't work, then I want you to try this on another machine. And if it still doesn't work, I want you to try it on Windows Server 2016. So close it. Close it. Close. Yeah. Okay. Close. Cancel the shutdown. You don't want to shut it down yet. I want you to open up PowerShell, and I want you to take enable dash Windows, because it seems like it's not wanting to pick it up. So I want you to enable the feature with PowerShell. See what happens.
Okay. Do I have something in the chat?
The Teams, yeah. Yeah. I promise this is our last thing.
I see a link. If you
Yeah,
want me to
there's
go
a
to-
link above the link. There's a PowerShell enable dash. I want you to take that whole line of code,
Okay.
but I want you to take a look at that link after, and I want you to read into it. I want you to create these two machines, and we'll try to focus on getting the take control option working, because I don't know why that's not working. Right click and paste.
Try to
So
put
that'll
the
be your
comment in.
homework assignment. That'll be your homework assignment. You could delete these two machines and recreate them now that you have the template machine, right? And then create a Windows 2016 machine too now if you want.
Doesn't
As
seem to want to.
practice.
Doesn't seem to
As
want to
practice.
paste. Doesn't seem
Okay,
to want to paste.
so type. Okay, so right click,
Uh,
right
right
click,
click.
paste. Control V, Control paste, Control V. Okay, type in enable dash Windows option feature, one word. Enable. Enable.
See it. I
Type in
have it
the.
written. I can recap.
Yeah,
I see it. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, it's taking a long time. This should take it. Help. But just make sure the space is there between online. Online, is there's a space between feature and online, and then feature name space Microsoft dash hyper dash v space dash all. You can use the tab. The tab will also help you fig
And Control C is copy, right? Let me try
yeah,
that.
yeah. Control C, paste. No.
Yeah.
Right click. Right click. It should give you the option to mark. Yeah, there we go. Enter. Enter. That's right. There you go. There you go. You have it installed. So this will kind of be like our quick route if it doesn't work. But if it doesn't, we have to make sure that it's enabled, and then this should install it. We shouldn't have any issues, I hope.
And this installs
Yeah, we're
Hyper-V.
perfect. We installed it. There we go. So right now, this is the way. This is the way to install it. Um, we've installed it. I want you to type in the letter yes. Y, enter, and I want you to log in and see if you can open Hyper-V, and then that's it. We're done for today.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll talk next week or Friday.
Okay, Roger. Roger,
All right.
Dodger.
All right, so we're good to go. I want you to recreate these machines for me. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can take that up.
And can you create a Windows Server 2019 machine or 2016 machine for me? Now that you're able to do this quickly. And then with the template, you don't have to worry about creating a template. If you want to create another template, you can create a template for version 2019. That way we have a template for that machine. And then in our next class, again, I want you to I want to teach you how to use Azure and AWS, but it's better to learn the data center stuff first before migrating over to the cloud,
Okay.
right? Because I'm
All
sure
right.
the
Let me log
cloud
in.
it's easier, right? It's a little
Let
bit
me log
easier.
in.
Yeah, it's the same concept in the cloud, right? But to have it on your data center on-prem physically, right, in virtual machine format as a file is the way to go. because it'll give you, it's the way companies work these days.
So
eh, yeah, so I want you to go to view or tools, and you'll see Hyper-V. Tools, sorry. You'll see Hyper-V. Manager. Okay. Can you click on the yellow triangle for me? There's a yellow triangle. Usually what happens is after, you'll see the Hyper-V role installed, right? You see the Hyper-V role installed on the left. There's a yellow triangle where the flag is up top. Yellow
I
triangle.
see it here listed.
Yellow triangle. No, there's a yellow triangle. Yeah, click on that. So this is our active domain controller, right? So this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to do in our next class. Now, if you can't find it in the tools, no problem. I want you to go to start menu.
It says you can.
We're not going to promote it yet. This is our
Yeah, I
next class.
understand. Yeah,
we're going to
you're
create
right.
our domain controller. So I
Okay.
want you to look for Hyper-V. You
Okay,
installed it. It's called
I'm
Hyper
gonna have
Manager.
to leave.
Hyper-V
Okay.
Manager. Click on it. Once you open it, you should be. We're going to end this class.
Where's Hyper-V? I don't see it. Am I in the right place?
Yeah, you're in the right place. Yeah.
Control
Or
panel?
administrative tools.
Got it. Okay.
Click on it. Or you can use the down arrow. Okay, you should be able to see Hyper-V Manager.
Let's see here.
Okay, so I want you to go to the start menu, and I want you to go look at all the applications. You know how to go to start menu and look for an app, right? You go to the start menu, click on start, left click on start. That's right click, left click.
I did a left click, and this is what I have. I'm
I
trying
need
to
you
see.
to I need you to go to the start menu.
I did that.
Try
Go
again.
back.
Just try it again. Start menu, left click once. Okay. There's a down arrow. I need you to click. I need you to, okay. I want you to find Hyper-V.
Yeah.
Hyper-V. Hyper-V.
It's not coming up on this list.
Okay.
Maybe it's
Then
only in the.
I want you to add the enable. Okay, so if it's not showing up on this list, but the role is installed, then there's some other options that we need to test. And I think we're gonna end today's class because I think we did enough today. I want you to take your homework is to troubleshoot why it's not showing up
Okay.
and then
All
get
right.
back to me.
Sounds good.
Can you do that for me?
I'm gonna
It's
try
not,
my best.
there's some no, like, it's something small. It could be the option of Intel enabling the Intel VTX. It could be an option where you have to kind of dig in and do some research on it. But for now, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. It's installed, right? We need to make sure that it's enabled on your system. So I want you to find it and I want you to open it for me. And I want you to show me, send me a picture of it working. Okay. And then in the next class, we're going to continue on. I know you got to go. I'll let you go. Thank you very much, Wayne. Thanks, everybody. I want you guys to send me your snapshots and email me in my WhatsApp group. All right, guys. And thanks for joining. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. I'll share the video with you.